Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Favorite Album of the Year. Today we are at 1977. Another fantastic year, really fantastic year, and another really tough set of choices here, as it seems like almost every day is. So, here again, we've got some stuff that really near and dear to me, some, real special bands that I've loved a lot for many years, and some killer releases from bands that maybe I wasn't, crazy into in the late 70s, early mid-80s, but really got into much more later on. And a lot of real classic albums. There's a couple of bands on my list, anyway, my short list, that, might be my favorite releases from those bands or close to it. So some really tough choices. And it's not going to get any easier going forward. 78, 79, 80, some really great albums. And this particular year is filled with albums that I think we're going to see a lot of variety in the comments of which ones people are picking. There's some great heavy albums that came out in 1977. There's some great kind of like albums that just like took over the charts, big, huge sellers. There's some great prog stuff that came out in this year. There's some stuff that, kind of hard to classify because it kind of like straddles the line between, general rock and hard rock and prog and pop and AOR and pomp and all that kind of stuff. All sorts of crazy good albums coming out right around this time. A lot of really great guitar players putting out, solo albums and things like that. So some really good releases. I think my number one was pretty set in stone. I think it might surprise some of you. I mean, there's a couple of ways I could have gone here. But again, I like to go back to, well, which album did I love a ton back in the day and still really love today? Or, which album did I maybe not really get into as much back then, but has really become an absolute favorite of mine later in life? My number one pick was kind of both. My number one pick I loved a ton back in the day, and I've grown to love it even more so in the second half of my music listening career, life, whatever you want to call it. So the tough part was actually picking my runner-up. And I had like 4 or 5 choice albums that I was kind of looking to pick from. And before I kind of go into the craziness of me trying to make that decision, let me reveal my number one pick. So again, I think this is going to surprise many of you. It's not the band's first album. It's not their second or third. They've actually got a handful of releases that came out before this, but it's a pretty special one. And like I said, it's probably my favorite album by this band. If not my absolute favorite, it's tied with my favorite. And it's one that I've grown to love more and more as time has gone on. And again, if this isn't your favorite, that's totally cool. We all have our different favorites. So, choose which one. There is no right or wrong answer here. There's no best. This is not about chart sales and, billboards and, all that kind of stuff. It's just about which one affects us most deep down in here. So my favorite album from 1977 is The Grand Illusion by Styx. I know you're saying, but Pete, come on, man. UFO, Rush, Pink Floyd, AC/DC, Steely Dan, Kansas, come on, man. Blue Oyster Cult, Scorpions, Jethro Tull, Judas Priest, Heart, Steve Miller Band, Fleetwood Mac. How can you possibly pick Styx Grand Illusion? Well, like I said, it's all a matter of personal taste and which ones, really resonate with us. I have a very special history with this particular album. All these albums affect us differently, and I think that for me, it's just top to bottom an incredible album. It's got a couple more radio hits. It's got fantastic deep album cuts. I think one of the things I love about this album so much is the deep album cuts are just absolutely spectacular. It's got the amazing title track, The Grand Illusion. So regal, so majestic. Good hard rockin' song, lots of proggy touches there. Then you got the absolutely wonderful Foolin' Yourself, The Angry Young Man. So memorable. Tommy Shaw, man, what a spectacular songwriter, vocalist, and guitar player. That's a legendary song. Then you got Superstars. Vocal harmonies. Amazing. All right, then of course you got the legendary single, probably one of their most well-known songs, "Come Sail Away." Dennis DeYoung at his absolute best, right? Then you got the cranking James Young song, "Miss America." Great guitar riffs, heavy rocker, right? And then, for me, some of my favorite songs on the album, "Man in the Wilderness," pure prog, all right? Gorgeous vocal harmonies, fantastic synths and keyboards. And then my favorite song on the album, "Castle Walls," another prog epic. A song that they never played live until they did the Pieces of Eight Grand Illusion tour, which I saw back in like 10 years ago. All right, then the grand finale to cap it all off. Just an amazing, bombastic album full of irresistible melodies, great musicianship, vocals just outstanding, and it got all these guys singing and everything like that. Just an amazing album that I just absolutely love to death. So now that we got that out of the way, there's a lot of other albums from this year that I absolutely love to death, and it really pained me to kind of whittle it down to one. I almost kind of did a cop-out here and did like a multi-album tie, but I knew that's not really the way to go about doing this, so I had to pick one. So I went and I was listening to all the ones in question, and I kept kind of coming back to one. And this one I think a lot of people are going to pick for this year. There's two in particular that I think a lot of people are going to lean to. One, because it's one of the greatest selling albums of all time, and it's fantastic. It's that for a reason. And the other is, for a lot of us, the sleeper album from this particular band, who has a couple of other albums that were even more massive successes. But for me, artistically, as far as the songs and everything, this is my favorite album from this band, and it's not even close. So I went with my runner-up to Pink Floyd, "Animals." Now, I know there's going to be plenty of you saying, "I can't believe you would pick Styx over Pink Floyd." Well, you know what? Like I said, I'm a huge Styx fan. All right, I dig Grand Illusion better than Animals, but I love Animals. All right, I love Animals, and Animals just is beaten out, Lights Out by UFO, Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, Steely Dan, Asia, Rush, Farewell to Kings. It pains me to make some of these decisions. ELO, Out of the Blue, Kansas, Port of No Return, Queen, News of the World, Spectres by BOC, Taken by Force by Scorpion. Some great releases in this year. But, Animals, I love it. Love it. This is the Pink Floyd I normally reach for. I like a lot of their other albums, but man, if I have to go listen to one Pink Floyd, I just got to get Pink Floyd into my system, into my ears. I need a Pink Floyd fix. I almost always grab this one first. Okay, it doesn't mean I don't love Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here, which I love, and a lot of the other albums, but this is always my first choice. But, for 1977, I got to go with The Grand Illusion by Styx. That is my absolute favorite from the year. Band that I adore. Like them more even now than I did back then, and I loved them back then. So, you know the drill, guys. In the comments below, pick your favorite album of the year, 1977. Remember, there's no right or wrong answer here. Your favorite is your favorite. Again, don't base it on chart sales, or chart rankings, or album sales, or, which one Rolling Stone magazine considers the classic of that year, whatever. It's how you feel inside. Just go with your gut, right? Your mind, your heart, your gut. This here. Whatever album speaks to you the most in this year, You like AC/DC in this year, Let There Be Rock? Hey, pick that one. Pick the one you like, right? So anyway, this is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. So what do we got coming up today? We've got the final part of Pete's T-shirt extravaganza coming up shortly. We are also going to be doing, what else is happening today? I'm hoping to get into today, if not today, tomorrow, my favorite keyboard players of all time. That's coming as well. We're going to rank the albums of Exodus, thrash metal legends Exodus, coming up later this afternoon. Also going to be ranking the albums this weekend of Government Mule and the Kinks. So that's all coming up this weekend. And of course, tomorrow is 1978. Favorite album of the year, right? It's going to be another tough one. So take care, everybody. Strap yourselves in for a great weekend of content here. And we'll see you later on. All right? Take care. Bye-bye.